I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing. What do you mean bad?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal. Right, that's bad.
Tonight we're talking about the 1984 supernatural comedy Ghostbusters, directed by Ivan Reitman, but really the passion project of Dan Akroyd, developed in the immediate aftermath of Akroyd and John Belushi quitting SNL in 1980, and then Belushi's untimely death in 1982 as Akroyd wrote the Ghostbusters screenplay meant for them to star in together. John Belushi was replaced by Bill Murray, who had been a cast member on SNL, but also quit SNL in 1980 to focus on his new film career. Ghostbusters also stars Harold Ramis, who came in and rewrote Dan Aykroyd's screenplay to try to lighten up the tone. Rick Moranis, Ernie Hudson, and Sigourney Weaver.
He slimed me.
That's great! Actual physical contact! Can you move?
Ray, come in, please.
I feel so funky.
Dan Aykroyd was obsessed with the paranormal. His great-grandfather had been a member of the spiritualist movement. Sam Akroyd made his living as a dentist and became interested in using hypnosis to stop pain and anxiety. Learning about the susceptibility of patients in a trance, his research brought him to the spiritualist movement and then to a friend named Walter, who claimed to be able to contact the dead in hypnotic trances. Sam Akroyd started a seance group on his farm in Ontario, and during these seances wrote the experience table tipping, saw ectoplasm, and heard voices. However, they could never make the spirits materialize, which frustrated Sam, who wanted tangible proof.
My grandfather was a dentist in Kingston, Ontario in the 20s, and a man walked up to him. He'd been researching psychic research in the other world and mediumship for many years, and a guy walked up to him and said, Dr. Akroyd, I believe that I have a gift. And his name was Walter Ashurst. He was a locomotive mechanic at the local engine works. And he was our family medium for at least, 15 years. And we would have seances in the 20s and 30s on Sunday afternoon. The big Dodges and Cadillacs would pull up and the women, the matrons would get out. And my great-grandfather would have a 90-minute session with the medium.
And since then, every generation of Dan Aykroyd's family had an interest in the paranormal. Dan Aykroyd's grandfather tried to build a machine that could capture ghosts' voices, assisted by his son, Samuel Peter, who would go on to write A History of Ghosts. Dan Aykroyd wanted to capture this part of his family history in the best way he knew how, by making a movie about it.
Or you could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the sky.
There was also a long tradition of ghost horror comedies from the 1940s and 1950s. Abbott and Costello, Bob Hope, and the Bowery Boys all made ghost comedies that could be updated for modern sensibilities. However, Dan Aykroyd's screenplay was originally far too serious and was meant to be scary, which is where Harold Ramis came in with a rewrite. Dan Aykroyd also viewed it as an intergalactic story and imagined himself and John Belushi traveling through space and time, battling spirit. Ivan Reitman brought him back down to earth, literally saying that a screenplay like that would cost $200 to $300 million to make. Eventually, Reitman secured $30 million from Columbia Pictures, but also promised to have it finished by June 1984, with no finished screenplay and no effects studio yet. Basically, 13 months to create Ghostbusters out of thin air. During the 13 months, Frank Price, who had been the Columbia executive who promised the $30 million and went to bat with the head of Columbia Pictures over greenlighting it, left Columbia to become the head of Universal Studios, which actually worked out well for the film because the name Ghostbusters was copyrighted by Universal TV, and he sold it back to them for $500,000. The effects were done by Richard Edlund, the former Industrial Light and Magic effects veteran, who founded Boss Film Studios, a new company in collaboration with both Columbia and MGM. Cinematography by Laszlo Kovacs, the new Hollywood cinematographer who had done Easy Rider very early in his career, and has started long-term collaborations with Peter Bogdanovich and Richard Rush. It also worked on Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Spielberg. The music is done by Elmer Bernstein, with Ray Parker Jr. writing and performing the now iconic theme song.
I'm Winston Zeddemore, Your Honor. But I've only been with the company for a couple of weeks. But I gotta tell you, these things are real. Since I joined these men, I have seen that'll turn you white.
Ghostbusters tells the story of three parapsychology professors who get fired by a Columbia University dean right after experiencing their first real encounter with a ghost in the New York Public Library. It's generally one of the most 80s movies of all time. As Dan Aykroyd said, in the early 80s, everyone was starting businesses. Three professors start a business fighting and containing ghosts, which gets them in trouble with the Environmental Protection Agency as their containment unit is nearing capacity. But by then, spiritual energy is coursing through New York City, and the Ghostbusters are the only ones who can stop the ghosts.
Are you the Keymaster?
Yes. I'm a friend of his. He told me to meet him here. I didn't get your name.
I am Zool. I am the gatekeeper.
Who have possessed Sigourney Weaver's Dana and her neighbor Lewis, played by Rick Moranis. Ghostbusters became the second highest grossing film of 1984 and spawned multiple animated TV shows, video games, and multiple sequels, and a 2016 reboot.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I'm obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are two more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on it at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective. YouTube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Tom Monaghan and Rob Kassees are the co-hosts of the podcast 1001 Album Complaints, playing the Star Trek Next Generation band the Beverly Crushers. And most recently, they're The Chop, who just released a Ghostbusters-themed concept album, Stay Puft. I, of course, am your local Environmental Protection Agency representative and host, Forrest Miller. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Just gotta say, just did a rewatch. BUSTIN did indeed make me feel good. There you go.
At one point, Dan Aykroyd literally does bust. He's in. I rewatched it again. Like, there's a scene where they're doing like the they're doing the montage of different like ghosts taking down, and you see his eyes just cross in bed, and he's like, oh yeah, no, the North remembers. I saw this way too young.
Not only that, but they're playing the theme song behind that scene. They cut the line, but it's that moment where Ray Parker Jr. says "Bustin' makes me feels good." So it was all timed out.
They're all living together too, like it's a dorm room or like a frat house or something, and they're all like in beds lying one next to each other.
Yeah, that seems so effective. And of course, I want to welcome Tom and Rob to the show, gentlemen. Apparently, to get on the show, all you got to do is write a concept record about the movie we're covering, and there you go. You're locked and loaded.
With the long way around.
Your life and thousands of dollars.
That's it. It's a small price to pay to talk with us. This is one that's kind of been on the list for us to cover for forever. I think it's fascinating, first of all, just rewatching this day and age. It's just quintessentially like this specific kind of 80s movie, not just slobs versus snobs, but like this big high adventure, sort of cruising over to the paranormal, but like smart ass and kind of, people can see representation in themselves in these cast of characters. But I think it's notable that how many times this has tried to been replicated, including under the franchise name, and it just does not work at all.
Yeah. There's a great joke too where Bill Murray is walking with them as he's trying to sell them on starting the business. And he's like, we're going to sell the franchise rights and get rich.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And there's something, and we could do a whole podcast just on that. But the whole legacy sequel thing, it's not really my deal. Like, those didn't hit the mark. Bustin made me feel bad in those situations.
Yeah. Well, it became like kind of the joke that doing the all female reboot. They're like, oh, they're making an all female reboot of Ghostbusters. Yeah. Like it hit at that moment where it was perfect to make that I don't know, the joke about that trope that was happening all over the place.
Right. Exactly.
The mistake they made is the magic of the movie is not in the premise. It's a good premise, but the magic of the movie is in the cast. That's where the story shines through. The story in and of itself, you throw in, honestly, I even think you throw John Belushi in there, it's not going to work as well or nearly as well.
I think it becomes a John Belushi vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's a different kind of movie.
Whereas in this configuration, they're actually very well balanced.
Yeah, totally.
Well, yeah, and there's something to be said for that, and the cast working so well, right? And it's funny because the Bill Murray character, very, very close to being toxically masculine, right? But in a way that's somehow charming, that you literally just can't do now. You can't do that.
Yeah,
there's no way to do it.
He's the scientist most likely to get Me Too'd.
Tells you what he's about right at the beginning. When he's shocking the guy, and he's hitting on the girl, he's shocking the guy, and then the guy gets it right. And then the scientist would be like, "Wait a second, this is interesting. Let's explore this." And he's
trying to get with that girl though. So
I think the thing that works also with that character is the couple times that somebody reciprocates, he draws back. Throughout the movie, like when Sigourney Weaver, I mean, she's under the influence of Zool, she's smoking on those Zool pods, but she's the moment she's trying to seduce him as Zool, he's like, oh, all right, well, I got it. So I think it's that too, because it's if somebody's really creepy and they're an overbearing presence, but then they draw back, you're like, all right, there's something.
There's a moral core there, right?
Yeah,
and that's what's missing when people kind of try to they get the more facile elements of the pickup artist kind of thing where it's oh god, annoying. And the blush and bravado for Venkman only makes sense because if you look at the other guys, the other two main guys are pretty introverted and kind of the spectrum. And then you get the salary man, the guy who literally just, man, I just need a job. What are you guys doing? Sure, I'll do it. Which is so great and so relatable.
Also, Sigourney plays a really good foil to Bill Murray, right? She calls him out for exactly what he is, which is a game show host. And the fact that she's not buying it helps us sympathize with him more in a nice way.
But she's also not being rough. She could, there's something charming to her about him that she's I'm not going to obviously give in to this, this game show host, but there's something inherently she smiles. A lot of times when he says something, she smiles and so it's not she's not completely put off by him the way she is Rick Moranis, right? We get a juxtaposition of overbearing and creepy to the point of I don't know, she's dipping out of the hall to get away from him, and then overbearing and kind of creepy in the way that it's also kind of charming. He's all over her apartment, bouncing around and stuff in the Bill Murray way.
Well, real quick to tag that, when they're going through the montage where got Casey Kasem of all people, talking about the antics that the Ghostbusters go down to, and she's kind of laughing and smiling and sort of all right, it's one of those things that it's a well-rounded characterization that I think we kind of in a lot of movies that attempt to do this kind of thing, you get something way more surface level, and you're oftentimes told how to feel rather than shown. And great use of montage in this film. Period. I mean, it's one of the best. When people think of good uses of montage in 80s movies, it's Ghostbusters, man. And so much of this is tied into, and I'm sorry, I don't want to jump too many topics, but Ecto-1, the fact that they got this, the conceit of they got this car, It's the most least suitable vehicle you could ever think of for, I don't know, literally anything, let alone what they're doing. Yeah. But it's weird looking. It's different. It's kind of cool. It's sold 1 million toys. It's in multiple video games, including a bonus level where you just drive it around.
To be clear, it's not functional at all. They don't need the ambulance feature at all.
There's nothing about this that they need, but you get to see, you know, the Dan Aykroyd character basically like just get super stoked about it, and you get that childlike wonder.
Yeah.
And I think in all the attempts in other movies, even within the franchise, to get that sense of childlike wonder, it just doesn't freaking work. And it's in small moments. It's not huge moments. That's the thing that makes it different.
Well, and the childlike wonder of actual Dan Aykroyd shines through as well, not just the character that he is playing. Like, he is super into it, right? So that's why he is, you know, it rings true. He's certainly playing a character, but that character is so informed by who he is, which really makes me wonder, like, how much influence Harold Ramis had on character development that happened there, right?
I kind of think a lot. Yeah, my sense is a lot, because I think Dan Aykroyd comes off in a lot of those interviews subsequent as pretty serious. And when you hear those stories about the original script being much more about horror and about seriousness and about really exploring this topic on a serious level. And, you know, even in your intro, you mentioned that Harold Ramis came in to kind of lighten things up. And I think also because he had written for Bill Murray before, he kind of knew his voice really well. I believe Harold Ramis is the one that suggested that their character tropes, to be more balanced, could reflect the Wizard of Oz characters. So you have Bill Murray, the Egon the Tin Man, and Dan Aykroyd, the Cowardly Lion. You know, it just gives it a really nice sense of balance and playfulness that appeals to kids also, whether they think we're thinking of that or not.
And also, like, I think with Ramis, you get lines like, "Yes, it's true, this man has no dick," which is like, I mean, that's what makes it like a classic comedy, and so eminently quotable as well. Whereas the Akroyd one probably be badass, but it sounds like it was like super serious, and it's okay. That's a different kind of movie.
Well, the Akroyd thing too, right? Like, you have to remember, like, a year before they started filming this, he just put his best friend in the ground.
Yeah,
you know, like John Belushi had passed away in like this really tragic way. He was writing the screenplay for John Belushi and him to do together as like another thing right after Blues Brothers. They left SNL together. Like, they had this like unbreakable bond, and then one day he was just gone. And you have to wonder how much the original, like, more serious like, especially because it's death, right? Like, it's ghosts. It's the ability to see, like, see somebody coming from the afterlife. You have to wonder how much that more serious script also reflected. I mean, I'm sure Akroyd is a serious person too, but like that moment, I'm sure it would like drift into your screenplay.
Sure.
How many times do you think he brought up, let's just get that ghost phone up and we can get the real Belushi in here again?
Yeah.
Like, contact dad and get that ghost phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really believes it, right? Well, the other detail that I read is that Belushi is in the movie as Slimer,
right?
Yeah.
That's I've heard that rumor as well, which is deeply funny.
Which, I mean, because, you know, it's the Animal House thing with he puts the food in his mouth and then, you know, the food squirts out of his But like the end of Belushi's life, like I was watching like interviews they were doing around this time, and Belushi had like this turn where he had this just deep anxiety about the fact that he was being known as like this drunk buffoon character, and he wasn't that, but it was really seeping into his like consciousness and his whole manner of being. So he started taking more serious roles, or trying to take more serious roles towards the end. Like his last few movies, he tries to do something other than be kind of like an Animal House style buffoon, and I think that really like it overwhelmed him at that point, where it's like, you know, I'm this one thing, and it just
And then his best friend memorialized him as a ghost buffoon in the next movie.
And then none of the other movies
that became a marketable like Saturday morning cartoon character. By the way, that's a real thing that happened.
None of the movies worked after that, and maybe Belushi was haunting it.
Yeah, maybe.
So, Rob, if I died, what kind of ghost would you make me? You know,
I would definitely smoke cigarettes.
Nothing to do with my death.
So, Rob, Tom, of course, you do the lovely 1001 Album Complaints podcast, but the Chop Unlimited, the Chop is the main thing that I originally know you from, at least from, you know, Beverly Crushers, the Ghost Beef, the Arby's concept record, and of course, most recently, Stay Puffed. Product placement.
Heck yeah.
The Ghostbusters theme concept record. Before we dive into the plot summary and go through it, which you can interject with as many songs and explanations as you want, tell us how this came to pass. Now, I know because, of course, I've had you guys on the show, but tell our audience, please.
Yeah, we got interested many years ago. So we were in bands from when we were young, and at some point we split up geographically. A bunch of people moved around the country, and we weren't together or able to practice as a band consistently. And we got it into our heads that, we could do these one-off recording weekends where the friends get together, we go to a studio after exchanging some demos, and we make some songs. And part of that idea was, let's give ourselves a writing prompt, right, that we think would be fun or a thing to write towards. So we decided to do a weekend, and the prompt was Ghostbusters Soul. It's a little pun intended there.
Yeah, I got it.
And it went smashingly well. We had a really fun weekend. We recorded 5 songs, 4 of which you hear on the final record. And we just found that concept really rewarding. 1, you get to hang out with your friends. 2, it's kind of low commitment or limited commitment version of being in a band. 3, writing to a prompt makes songwriting maybe slightly easier. It just kind of narrows the blank page down a bit.
Yeah. And we like the concept so much that we waited a full 5.5 years to actually finish it after that first recording session.
That's true. It took 10 years.
Why complete something in a timely manner when you can just drag it out? You guys in Chinese democracy.
Well, the real reason is that Tom and I still live in Northern California and still collaborate quite frequently. We tend to be the ones driving ahead and being a little more motivated to finish things. But we really wanted the whole group of our friends who are quite dispersed to be a part of this. So for some, part of it, we waited for them to catch up and be willing to do this project with us.
Well, and you also have the musicians involved are also involved in the podcast. It's a very porous, collaborative collective, if you will. And exactly. I think that kind of adds to the fun sort of party element so that people from your show can have an in for the record that maybe they wouldn't have for a band that's obviously, unless I missed the chapter, not going to be touring anytime soon.
No.
Correct. Tom and I have talked about maybe putting together a single live show later this year, but it has not happened yet.
Well, holler at your boy. We're booking some stuff for the fall. So
you gotta do a gorilla style thing, where you have the ghosts, you have the ghosts playing in the band, and you
yeah, exactly.
Totally. Yeah. Contact us, animators.
Right, exactly. That'd be great. That'd be a great thing.
But
I think the record works, and it isn't just a novelty, right? The record works. The songs are it isn't it is a goof, but it's not just a goof. It's commitment to the bit, in a way that I ascribe to the band Sparks and myself, where you are deeply committed to what it is you're doing. But the funny part of it is the overall concept.
This is my favorite aesthetic for everything, whether it's comedy or anything else, and I try to ascribe and live by it, which is take something that is inherently silly and ridiculous, and then just go dead serious commitment to it. To me, that's the only way to do it. We didn't initially set out to make it a retelling of the story of Ghostbusters that eventually became that. We were just kind of writing in that space, writing about some of the characters, some of the situations we found funny about the movie. Clearly, we're lifelong fans of the movie, and it's something that we had a shared history with. And we just wanted to play around, especially with some of the characters that don't get a lot of their character filled in necessarily, but a lot is implied, and they're memorable, but they don't exactly have backstories.
So on that, the Keymaster, of course, Rick Moranis is he's so freaking good in this, and it's not even a huge role. He doesn't even have that much screen time, but he's so memorable, such a perfect character, right?
So good.
It's sad that we had what happened to Rick Moranis. He's not, he hasn't been in roles for a long time.
He's back now. He is.
Isn't he doing this baseball sequel?
Yeah, and they just released the trailer for it. And he's doing promo. He's fantastic. But he's he looks a lot older.
Mel Brooks is 750 years old and he's doing other Spaceballs. Let's go, baby.
And somehow Rick Moranis looks older than he is. But there's
he's been home raising kids. That's the problem.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That speech that he gives to the party was something that they had Moranis just improvise.
Where he's so good.
talking to all the party guests, and he's trying to get them to get them to let him do their taxes because he's like an accountant.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, I invited coworkers instead of friends so I can write it off, and he's like telling this to and the guy's like, what do I do with this information?
But when he's talking to Sigourney Weaver too, he's like, well, you do your own taxes, and I wouldn't recommend that, but we could talk about that later at the party.
He's hyper fixated on it after he comes. Spoiler alert! After he comes out of being like one of the stone dogs, it's one of the first things he thinks of. It's great, and it's such a lived-in character that's so idiosyncratic, and so like we've become used to that kind of thing now. But to have kind of one of the legendary character actors of that decade, just top of his game, doing like Christopher Guest style deep character work for this. None of that's happening, and I hate to keep shitting on them, but I don't hate it that much. So I'm going to keep doing it. None of the other movies have that.
Yeah, well, they try to do the improvisation, but first of all, Rick Moranis is a master at that, so you can't just like waltz into improvisation and be like, oh, let's just improv everything. But that was a big part of like what made it great is that they weren't improving every scene. Sometimes where it was appropriate, but I feel like specifically the new one was just like, let's improv everything. No written lines.
I don't think, but skill level is, I don't think the problem there. I think that the audience just, because people like Kate McKinnon are very, very highly skilled and funny, obviously, right? But it's something about the originality of the premise. I think that audiences respond to originality, and you can't, how could you ever recapture that sense of surprise and wonder?
Well, I mean, they couldn't even
and in the era that it came out, with like Reagan being president and like all the things culturally that were happening, right? Like there's no way to like replicate all of those elements that made it so wonderful. Go ahead, Forrest.
But they couldn't even replicate it for Ghostbusters 2. It's like not good.
No, it's like whatever. It's what I would call deeply inessential is what I would call it.
I don't know. So that makes it interesting too, right? Like it's these guys at this time where they're at the top of their game, and they're all in the same projects too. It's like 2 years after this, Little Shop of Horrors. Like they have cameos from Bill Murray. Rick Moranis is obviously at the center of it. Instead of it's kind of a reversal, right? Where it's like it's a platonic reversal, if you will. But like he's now like the main center actor in the entire movie, and then Bill Murray's there, and like obviously Steve Martin's not in this, but Steve Martin's in a lot of the same projects from this time. Like there's just like a whole list of actors that go in and out of each other's projects. I mean, Harold Ramis, he wrote a lot of the other movies that they kind of all did as like a SNL kind of collective too.
Yeah,
like,
SNL, SCTV kind of crossover, like this kind of it was in like the ether that big comedic swings were like allowed to happen, whereas now like.
Yeah.
It might be though a little bit about that intersection of SCTV and SNL, which were happening at the same time. Clearly those guys were friends, but they do represent like a different version of comedy. And I think over the years, over the decades, now SNL is a little more of a monoculture of what it means to be a comedian or in a sketch. It just feels a little more streamlined. And I think that mixture of the SCTV, which was a little more absurdist and a little less performative because it wasn't being done in front of a live audience, it just offered like a different version of the thing. And I think you sense both of those aesthetics coming together in the movie.
You can sense that they've been trying to get something like that back at SNL with some of the hires that they've done, but if they find them from like these pretty unique places, it just doesn't
Planet and and it's just it feels like it's tacked on, right?
Like they have Sarah Sherman.
It's like Johnny Marr, Joni Modest Mouse. Like what?
Sarah Sherman, who's on there now, somehow like found a way to mesh with Adam Sandler, and they're like on tour.
Cool.
in like a bizarre way. But her stage shows are just like her, like she covers herself in blood and like these like strange like monster costumes kind of, and it's like I don't know how SNL kind of like at this point found that, and they were like, let's try it.
I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying it's a certain aesthetic that comes out of the way they produce the show and the history of the show. Yeah,
it's not good at all. But I mean, like I have noticed that. I mean, I don't watch SNL really, but
there goes my SNL audition. Thanks.
But with some of the recent cast things, I feel like I've noticed they're like they're trying to change that, and it's like
they're working on it. Okay, there you go. Audition's back on.
I agree with Rob. I do feel like they're trying to take somebody else and make them into what an SNL player is, as opposed to letting SNL become what the collection of players put together. And that's where I do think that, you know, shows like Mad TV back in the day, even like Key and Peele, like they were sort of operating as a place to have stuff that would never play on SNL, because there's just a sensibility. I guess maybe Lorne's sensibility is
that moved into you know, Bob and David and Mr. Show earlier on. Then you get stuff that's even more absurdist, like, you know, Eric Andre, I Think You Should Leave, you know, so on and so on. And now we're just talking about the history of sketch comedy. But I think this is such an interesting flashpoint in time that this hit big. This movie was huge, and when I saw it, I was probably too young to see it, frankly, and I was pretty freaked out by a couple of the scenes. But
I definitely was too. I can't even remember when I first saw it, but it was so long ago because I don't know. My dad loved all of these comics at that time, like especially Stripes. He liked Stripes a lot for some reason. And he'd always watch Stripes, and then he'd make at the mud wrestling scene. He'd make me go upstairs, and he's like, "All right, time for bed." I was like that. I was that young when he was watching.
Which features Rubber Band Man by the Spinners, by the way. So there you go.
Also
directed
by Ivan Reitman, who, you know, because of that was hired to do Ghostbusters.
I have a very specific memory of it was the first day that we got cable, which is a big deal. It's like, oh my God, we have cable. And like turned it on and started flipping through the channels, and Ghostbusters was like just coming on. And I was like, this is the best day of my life. This is so amazing.
You can watch a movie at home?
Ghostbusters all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Beastmaster, like whatever. You know, what do you got? Let's watch it. You know, there was the whole world, a universe of opportunity was opening to you. Yeah, my dad paid off the cable guy, statute of limitations, by the way, and we got all the movie channels for free. It was oh my God, it was great. It was amazing. Warped me as a human being.
I feel like this movie, Animal House, they put on TV like every once in a while. You know, if you're really on the whatever, like adult channel kind of version of it, right? Like Porky's or something like that. They'll put Porky's and Porky's 2 on. And they'll, like, you know, at like 3 a.m. like,
was it Meatballs? Is that the one that Bill Murray was in? Meatballs? Yeah. That's Porky to ask.
Meatballs, everybody. Let's give it a round of applause for Meatballs. No, not the food. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and you want to hit with the plot for us? We can kind of go through. Rob, Tom, you guys have songs all throughout the movie. If you want to interject at any time, and especially if you have like a cool story behind one of the songs to bring in, please feel free to do so.
Awesome. So the film opens within the New York Public Library. Now cut to ribbons by the budget. Where a librarian, Alice Drummond, is first gathering books before heading downstairs to remote an empty section. She places a book back on the shelf. We're really going action by action here. Not noticing that the books behind her are levitating.
The shooting script, apparently. I don't know.
Later, she passes the card catalog shelf as they open behind her and suddenly begin to hurl their contents in the air. Frightened and screaming, she runs through the room before being stopped by an unseen ghost, which scares her terribly. This leads to the title card.
Okay, this is one of the great intros, I feel like, right? Because, again, when we're culturally, we all know Ghostbusters. It's part of this our pop culture. But if you don't know this movie and you see that, you don't know what kind of film you're going to be getting into. Yeah. But it sets the premise immediately. Yeah. You know, Alice Drummond, weirdly named in the synopsis. Okay. Also in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, she's Mrs. Finkel in that too, by the way.
They have all the names of every person. This is this is one of the very long synopses.
It's a very long one, yeah. But I think it's cool because you get the setup is okay. So you know there's ghosts around. Ghosts are
it's an actual scare, which doesn't really come again in the movie.
It's the only time that really, it really happens without like a laugh to sort of like buttress it.
Right.
Well, it's that one, and then there's like the jump scare that always got me was when they go after the woman. They're like, get her, and then she turns around and she goes.
Oh, right. You're right.
I remember jumping back like.
Yeah.
One of my favorite throwaway lines, not a throwaway, it's a great joke, where Egon says symmetrical book stacking, like he's taking notes, and he just goes, no human would stack books that way.
No, he says, wow, he says, and then Dan Aykroyd's character is like, this is just like because I remember writing this out. He's like the great Philadelphia Philadelphia happening of 1947 or something, which is like
name.
Because I remember looking up and be like, is that a real 1.5? Like, is
Right,
that,
exactly. What was that?
Know about?
Yeah, everyone knows about this.
Actually,
Well, and that's when.
Yeah, it's a good question. Is Dan Aykroyd putting little things that are really in the spiritual history of America, and then the other characters are kind of just we're treating them as jokes, but Tobin's Spirit Guide is an actual text?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's one of the reasons why it works is that like keeps you guessing, right? I almost don't want to know the answer.
Yeah, Mass Turbulence of 1947. By the way,
great,
fantastic,
great name.
There's there was some person that went even deeper than you guys, and they had like a flyer for the 1947 Philadelphia Mass Turbulence.
Oh, they made art for it? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. After the opening title shot, great, by the way, and the Ghostbusters, the ghost with the no sign over it, classic iconography. And that's something that like we don't give nearly enough credit. That like it's been ripped off so many times, and like
was the no sign common at the time? Was that like a thing? I know it's on street signs, but I mean, I feel like after that
it was in pesticides. Like here's a roach with like a they don't want to have the roach around. Like, and so my understanding, don't ask me where I learned this from, but I've known it for years, is that they were thinking about, well, they're basically exterminators. They're running around like exterminating ghosts. So what would like an exterminator's ad be? It's like, well, like the thing that you're exterminating with like the no sign over it.
Right,
but it was such a niche thing that unless you're someone that calls exterminators a lot, like you're not going to be super familiar with. Yet it became quickly a part of the zeitgeist. So
there's also, and now I feel like exterminators all want to be like the whatever busters, like the roach busters.
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I had something just now, and then I wanted to say I wish they would bring this back, but this is also the perfect time for the music video to go along. That's not in the movie, but goes along with the movie. So it's like they have the Ray Parker Jr. one, and because of MTV, they would make these they would make the movie's theme song into its own thing where everyone's dancing with like Ray Parker Jr. or something like that.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. I remember it very well. All right, this synopsis is like 7 pages long, so we got to get going. After the opening title shot, the film continues in the Paranormal Studies Department of Columbia University, where Dr. Peter Venkman,
real place.
Dr. Peter Venkman, Bill Murray, is conducting a test on ESP with a nerdy male student, Stephen Tash, and an attractive female student, Jennifer Runyon. Venkman continually flirts and lies about her abilities, to great comedic effect, I might add, while enjoying administering electric shocks to the male student. Having finally had enough, the male student departs, and Venkman continues to flirt with the young woman. Dr. Ray Stantz, Dan Akroyd, enters and frantically begins to tell Venkman about the sighting at the library, insisting they leave at once to check it out. Venkman makes a date with the student and follows Stantz out.
You know this guy by this scene.
Like, it's so great. Yeah, it's like a 3-minute scene or something, right? Yeah,
the almost impish cruelty to the shocks on the male student, while like completely just lying out of horniness and boredom to the female student. Like,
and again, no interest in any of the actual science being conducted at all.
Yeah, 0.0% interest.
And the guy, he gets up and he's like, I've had enough. And he's like, we're paying you, aren't we?
Yeah,
we've given you your $5, haven't we?
I feel like too the electric shocks are shorthand for what the public thinks goes on in science labs, like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so many times where he gets himself out of trouble by going, "I'm a scientist, sir."
Yeah.
He's asking the one woman about her like menstruation, and then the guy's like, "Is this really necessary?" He goes, "I'm a scientist, sir. Back off."
Try that in my life. Like, excuse me,
sir, I'm a scientist. Please,
pardon me. I have a degree in English. Okay, can you back off?
Upon arriving at the library, Venkman and Stantz meet up with Dr. Egon Spengler, Harold Ramis, and Venkman proceeds to ask a series of personal and cynical questions about her medical and social history, including the menstruation one. Before the three head down to the area the ghost supposedly inhabits, while walking down there, the three men collect ectoplasmic residue, discover a tall, symmetrical stacking of books from floor to ceiling, and narrowly escape a falling bookcase.
Yeah. I like how they've gone through PhD programs, postdocs. They're at Columbia, and they still have no clue how to deal with an actual paranormal.
They've never seen an actual ghost.
Right.
It makes sense when you hear the Dan Aykroyd story, which is that his dentist, like doctor, he even calls him in like the interview he did with like Rogan that I was watching, like he calls him like Dr. Akroyd or whatever, still out of like deference. So that doctor comes like kind of disillusioned at the end of his life, because although they've seen chairs flip over, they've seen tables flip over, they've seen voices, like this guy could channel like they all seem to be racial stereotypes. That's what the ghosts were for him. So he had, like there was like a Chinese ghost, there was like an Irish ghost, there was like a they're like a lot of Native American ghosts, like
limited to the bad impressions he can do.
Yeah. There's like, but then he became disillusioned because they could never actually see the actual ghost coming out of anything, right? They couldn't do they couldn't make the ghost materialize. They could only do these kind of side things. So at the end of his life, he's like, fuck, like I haven't seen. He did like 80 seances and didn't see a ghost one time. But a lot of racial impressions.
Yes, we really nailed the Borscht Belt racial impressions. Yes. Turning the same corner as the librarian, they see the ghost, a transparent form of an elderly lady, Ruth Oliver, reading a book. Having no idea what to do, Venkman begins to talk to the ghost as if it were a lady in a bar. She shushes him before Stantz proclaims he knows what to do. They stealthily approach the ghost before Ray yells, "Get her!" And the ghost mutates into a ghoulish skeletal apparition, scaring the hell out of the trio, who run screaming from the library. They ignore the library administrator, John Rothman, in their frantic way out.
I like the idea that as a ghost, like I feel like a library would be the perfect place. Like especially like the New York Public Library, like one that's like very deep and like a massive kind of structure where you're kind of just haunting the library. I mean, there's stuff to do, there's people to see, there's there's enough books to read, like
homeless guys to watch masturbating.
Yeah. Bustin makes me feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As it turns out, yes.
After they've calmed down a bit, they walk back to the university. Venkman mocks Ray's idiotic plan. I love the line where he's like, "Get her. That's the big plan."
But that goes back to the earlier point, right? That they don't really know. There's no practical application for this. They don't know what they're freaking doing.
You'd think that they would have thought long and hard about this moment occurring, though.
Yeah,
that's my point.
They just, they don't have it together.
Yeah, but like you're in the moment. I don't like whenever I'm like, I'm in the moment. Something happens. It just leaves my mind, right? Like I've thought about stuff 100,000 times. You're on a really good date, and then you're leaning for the kiss, and then you've been thinking about it all day, but then it leaves your mind, and your mind goes blank.
Fair. Well, and also it shows that Venkman clearly never actually believed that it was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Which is the cynical like Reaganomics 80s thing where they make it very clear like they're sponging off the public taxpayer, and their biggest fear is going like into the private sector where he's like, you actually have to deliver results in the private sector. It's horrible there. Egan announces that based on his readings, they now have a good chance of actually catching a ghost and holding it indefinitely. However, once they get back to the school, they meet the dean, who tells them their grant has been terminated due to their shoddy and highly suspect findings, research, and method.
It's not quite as good as the Mr. Blutowski, but it's up there.
It's just shoddy findings, research, and methods, but their banter is great, I guess.
Yeah, other than that, they're killing it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Peter and Ray sit drinking on campus, and Ray mopes about their bleak prospects before Peter suggests this turn of events happened so that they could go into business for themselves as the world's first firm for paranormal investigations and eliminations. So
see, that's when they're channeling John Belushi. They're drinking on campus. Love that. Toga! Peter convinces Ray to take out a mortgage on his childhood home. I love everybody has 3 mortgages. Like everyone has 3 mortgages nowadays. You're not going to lose.
Played for laughs, by the way. The horrible mortgage he gets completely played for laughs.
Yeah. That's 19% mortgage or something.
Yeah. It's up there with the subprime.
And use it for startup capital. The trio checks out an empty firehouse used as headquarters, and while Egan enumerates the many problems with the building, Ray is beside himself with excitement at the prospect of living and working there, especially with the antique pole used by firefighters and strippers of the past to exit the top floor rapidly.
Yeah, love that as a kid. Still love it as an adult, by the way. The fact that that's a selling point. Oh, there's fire poles? Great. I'm in.
Well, I mean, I always felt like it would be really awesome to live in a place with a fire pole, and then you jump down like every day, but like when you want to go somewhere, you jump down in the fire pole.
Yeah,
he represents the kid logic of the whole thing. Like now they're establishing Dan Aykroyd's character as the kid of the group.
Mm-hmm. He's got the childlike wonder, which is Chekhov's childhood wonder, by the way. It's introduced in the first act, so it shows up in the third.
That means look,
he's going to get a blowjob from a ghost.
Yeah, that's in between.
The end of his childhood.
It's like there's a light side and a dark side to it. The light side's the fire pole, and the dark side,
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
I think the dark side is when you go to take a piss in the middle of the night and you fall down that fire pole hole.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
And then you have to call an ambulance to the firehouse.
Yeah, you just take Ecto 1. That's why they got it. It's perfect.
Exactly. Perfect for that.
We need an ambulance. Where are you? The firehouse. Really? You're
okay. Why don't you just use At 55 Central Park West, classical musician Dana Barrett, Sigourney Weaver, arrives home with her groceries. Her neighbor, Uber nerd, and accountant Louis Tully, Rick Moranis, stops her in the hall, telling her their television's been left on. Louis badgers her about an upcoming party he's hosting, and Dana finally brushes him away and enters her apartment.
I love his incel logic, by the way. Is what I'll call it, like incel logic, where he's like, yeah, I tried to climb in and turn your television off, but when I couldn't do that, I turned my television off, so I couldn't tell whose television it was. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Might be a good time to mention Louis Tully, Central Park West, guys.
Yeah. That, like you mentioned it before, he is such a core character to this movie. Not one of the Ghostbusters, but I still think of him as a absolute star of this movie. And, his story sort of had to be told. But that line, I turned my setup loud. There's better ways to wake the neighbors. The sly, I tried to help you out, but we could also have sex if you want to.
Real sly, exactly. Yeah.
There's something like before Sigourney Weaver turned into Zool, there's something like very almost like all these other guys are like Muppets, and she's like the one human kind of vibe to it.
Totally.
Yeah,
including Bill Murray, frankly. Yeah.
No, all of them, and even the secretary in their building kind of has that kind of vibe.
Ginny has Muppet energy, for sure.
Especially because Sigourney Weaver is like a foot taller than a lot of these guys. Like.
So as Dana is putting away her groceries, she notices that her eggs are now leaping out of their shells and cooking themselves in her countertop.
That does seem like it's easier than you having to do it.
I mean, hey, it's a time saver, really. She then hears a growl coming from her refrigerator, opens it, and sees an otherworldly temple and a dog-like creature that growls the word Zool before Dana frantically slams the door shut.
Oh wow, that's Ivan Reitman doing the voice. That makes sense.
It is. I didn't call that out.
Oh, interesting.
I also it's like you open the thing. It's like that's what happens when you leave you leave for vacation and you put cheese and you forget to take that one piece of moldy cheese out of it. There's the whole world in there.
Definitely found some science projects in the downstairs refrigerator when I came back after a month, and we'll leave it at that. But I don't know if it was demon oriented or not, but it was definitely had to go to the garbage immediately.
Back at the newly christened Ghostbusters headquarters, I guess that BUSTIN was what christened it. Ray pulls up Chalky Peter with a new business car, an old beat up 1959 Cadillac ambulance that needs a lot of work. That's pretty sick. Yeah. Imagine your town is like a Cadillac ambulance. Peter goes back inside and makes small talk with their new secretary Janine and Potts and waits around for business. Come on, we gotta have this business.
So again, Ecto 1, one of the keys to why this movie works. And again, the childlike wonder element of it that is not just selling toys, although they sell plenty of toys of Ecto 1. It looks cool. It doesn't look modern. It looks like it's kind of out of time because it is, frankly. It's like an older model. All that really works. And what I love so much about the interaction with Janine is that she's just having none of it with Venkman. None.
We're
selling him completely.
It's this moment also I feel like in New York City where everything around like the Bloomberg era and and I guess the Giuliani era too, like it's kind of refurbished and looks like shit now. Like, it's all like this weird stage of modern that I'm kind of like, but there's this time in the 70s and 80s where New York City looked so like cool that you'd have like this like 1959 Cadillac ambulance or whatever, like drive through the city. It fits in perfectly, rather than like now where if you saw that you'd be like, what the fuck is this? What's this? Are the rats driving this now?
Right. The pizza rat is driving.
Got to drive that murder rate up. Get some cool shit in New York City. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like
it's
probably the worst time, like the worst time and place to live in the city. But it's like all the stuff.
It looked the coolest. I mean, look at we did After Hours on this very show, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That movie is quintessential. That era, New York, right? And you guys want to speak to Janine in general right now? I'm sure there's other Janine opportunities, but.
Well, another great unsung character, and to me, the song Janine from Stay Puft is about Egon pining for Annie Potts because they clearly have energy in that first movie, but he's so darn awkward, although, of course, she's nerdy as well. And in my mind, he just was, he missed his opportunity, and he kind of knew that somewhere deep in his soul. So I wanted to write the ode to that relationship that never was.
Yeah, like in today's world, he's like a NFT guy or something because he's like I find literature to be the textual word to be a dying medium or something.
Right. Because she's trying to make conversation. Oh, I read a lot. Do you read it? Oh no, I find text to be a dying medium. Way to go, killing the game, my friend, killing the game.
She's so obviously
with you. Come on,
right? She's so obviously a nerd too. Like, come on.
Yeah. She's also in some ways like the female Venkman in a way because she's flirting. She's the one initiating this flirting, and she's also just like clearly just does not want to be at her job. The same way that I feel like there's a almost not yin yang, but there's like I don't know. There's like a spiritual connection between her and Bill Murray in this as like two characters that kind of have similar personality traits.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't also believe in ghosts. She's like sitting at the desk, like, you do? You have one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no, it all works. We got a couple super chats for us. You want to get to those before we move on?
Yeah, hang on. Well, I did say that the UN or whatever has to. We'll talk about Rome. We will talk about Rome in the after party.
There you go.
The cartoon they become crime busters. Well, because that's how they clean up the city.
Right. Yeah. One of there's the Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters, which is a wild story in and of itself that we will absolutely not have time for on this podcast. But like, it's really crazy.
No Samurai TV repairman Bowie on SNL. All right. Well, let's get back to the.
I lost the frame of reference on that one. Sorry, I wasn't even looking at comments. Right. So Dana arrives seeking an explanation for the events in her kitchen. Peter flirts vigorously with her. Vigorously. While Egon and Ray examine her briefly. I feel like Trump by now, like interjecting as I read. Anyway, thank you. President, everybody. That's a real thing. While Egon and Ray examine her briefly and speculate as to what may be the cause of her encounter. After deciding on a plan of action, Peter insists on going with Dana back to her apartment, where he haphazardly looks around, but mostly flirts with her.
I'll come back to your apartment. Yeah, let's I've been
that sounds great.
He also plays the top keys on the piano. That's one of my other favorites.
Oh, they hate this. It drives them crazy. Yeah.
He also, I wanted to ask you guys about, this is much later on, but I'm going to forget about it. He like invents a Christmas song at one point in this movie. Bill Murray. He's
yeah.
He's like, whoa, Santa's coming. He's coming. And it's like, did they say like, all right, just make up a Christmas song?
Make up like a Christmas song off the top of your head. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, he did that Star Wars thing. Yeah, Star Wars. Like the
he did. He's the same. Yeah, he's the same thing.
Well, the other thing I wanted to point out is that the reason Dana knows to go see them is she sees their crappy TV commercial. And I do feel like as the decades go on, people won't understand that there were a lot of those local commercials out there. These
production budget of like $12. Yeah, exactly.
But they were awesome. They were such a big part of our childhoods, I feel.
Yeah. That was all that was part of the inspiration for one of the songs, the Ready to Believe song, which but that was one of I think that might have been the first song that I wrote for that. And that kind of gave me the sort of like, oh, this should be a soul thing. Because I'd always had impression of they're all standing in line, and then the one guy pops out to say his line, and then pops back in. It's
like the Temptations or something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that rule.
They do the Three Stooges thing in one of their ads where they have the three of their heads all poking out simultaneously from the door.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Pop around the corner, and then there's just a terrible wooden delivery of "We're ready to believe you."
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, right? Like with the whole paranormal, like that's all people really want is like a lot of the time, right? When people, it's like they want someone to just listen to them and be like, "Oh, you saw a ghost, okay?" Or like the same thing with UFOs. Like I feel like everyone's UFO story. A lot of it is just like they want someone to like validate their
I was driving home from band practice last night. It's like 10 o'clock, and I'm looking around to find a place that is open just to like sell me a slice of pizza. And I passed 2 open psychics it's like 10 o'clock at night. It's like the only thing open in the neighborhood is the psychic, because people are like, I just need somebody to tell me that, everything's gonna be okay, or that they, whatever.
This is a crazy digression, but I watched Bicycle Thieves recently. Rewatched it like for the first time in a long time, and those movies, those whatever 1940s Italian
neorealism,
are so replete with like psychics. The psychics clearly making it up as they go along too, and all of them, because they're like trying to get backwards kind of Italian culture to be out of the mainstream and whatever. So they're like, yeah, just go to work. You're either gonna do it or you won't. Like,
yeah, it's great. Must be a hell of a vocation. All right, and we're getting back to Dana and Peter. He looks in the kitchen, sees the eggs on the counter, but nothing else out of the ordinary. Dana is annoyed, but Peter continues to beg her for a date, pledging to solve her problems in an effort to impress her.
Look, that's you double down. If someone's annoyed, you double down.
Yeah, he really does, and it is somehow both annoying and charming at the same time, which is a Bill Murray.
What are they gonna do? Get more annoyed? Later, the Ghostbusters sit around enjoying dinner, celebrating getting their first customer. But Ray has to let them know that the meal has just used the last of their business petty cash. Also, classic New York City Chinese food, where it's like you're like. You've got like the giant spread for like not very much. Fortunately, even as the business failure is staring them in the face, Janine finally gets an urgent call about a ghost that needs removal immediately. Peter, Ray, and Egon quickly dress and race out of their headquarters to the Cedric Hotel, where the manager, Michael Ensign, informs them of a ghost on the 12th floor. They've always had problems, he tells them, but lately it's gotten out of hand. As it does, you gotta get those ghosts early. The Ghostbusters assure him.
Can I say real quick? Yeah. He also played in the Pink Floyd The Wall movie. He was the hotel manager.
That's
his lane.
He looks
it's his bit, yeah. He looks like he'd be managing a hotel. Yeah.
They've always had problems, he tells them, but it's gotten out of hand. The Ghostbusters assure him they'll take care of it and head up to the 12th floor. They have that amazing interaction with a guy that reminded me of like Mr. Mushnick from Little Shop of Horrors, but he's he stayed there and they're like, oh, there's cockroaches up there, and he's like it's a giant cockroach, it's a real problem or something, and then he does the classic, I'll wait for the next one.
Also, that elevator scene, quite possibly just like the physical comedy of like they turn the suit on and then everybody moves like 4 inches.
They kind of I don't know about this.
Yeah, he's essentially like a nuclear reactor on his back, and if he goes out city block out, that's 6 inches away. Like, it's so good.
So Ian and Ray worry about their equipment, as you gotta play with your equipment, which Peter describes as unlicensed nuclear accelerator. They decide that they'll ignore the
God bless the 80s.
Well, Reagan was trying to push, trying to push for the energy. It's they make chit chat conversation with a guest, Murray Rubin, outside the elevator, tell them they're going to kill a cockroach. That he answers, that's got to be some cockroach. He takes the next elevator.
This really is a beat by beat synopsis.
This may be the most detailed. That's what I'm saying. It's like the shooting script, right? It's like the most detailed synopsis I've ever seen.
There was that one that we didn't even get to finish that one time where it was just like, all right, we got to.
It's too much. Yeah, we got to speed it up. All right, so almost immediately after Ghostbusters exit the elevator, a maid startles them, and they nearly kill her with the light beams of their proton packs, destroying most of the contents of her housekeeping cart. Again, played for big laughs, but that would be terrifying in reality, obviously.
He's also like the first because Winston hasn't shown up yet or whatever. He's like the first black character we've seen.
Yeah,
almost murder a black woman with.
And just, again, they're so unprepared for what's gonna happen. They're just like startling at anything.
Yeah, and you tell me they became cops in the cartoon later, huh? They became crime fighters in the cartoon. That's
I
crazy.
guess. Yeah.
They almost shot a black person immediately after getting out.
There you go. There you go. I guess the seeds were there, weren't they?
They don't even apologize or anything. They just keep going. They're great cops.
Yeah. Back in the blue. Anyway, the three split up, and Ray eventually sees the ghost, a rotund green blob with a huge mouth eating everything on a room service cart.
It's kind of fucked up if that's their Belushi.
Yeah. He's got a name. It's Slimer, please. Thank you. Call him by his name. Ray tries to hit. By the way, it's in the episode art, but like the hanging cigarette from the lip. Classic Akroyd. It's so really good. Where it's lit and it's hanging and he's moving around and it's perfect. Like
Chris emailed me when he did the art. Shout out to Chris Williams, our episode artist. But he emailed me. He's like, I hope this is okay. This is just a moment that sticks out to me every time I watch.
It's one of the iconic moments. I feel like. Yeah. Ray tries to hit it with the proton pack, but misses, and it flies away, frightened, taking the cart with it and passing through a wall, leaving behind a small amount of green slime. Ray calls Peter on his walkie-talkie, and Peter, who is now face-to-face with the ghost, is suddenly attacked by it. Ray runs to Peter and finds him on his back, covered in green slime, but otherwise okay. Egon calls them and informs the other two that the ghost went to the hotel's ballroom.
Well, because they do this whole thing back and forth where you're like, don't move. Like it just you'll be fine if you don't move, and then at the last minute he moves and then he gets slimed instantaneously.
which is the classic, he slimed me. Arguably, you can't do that on television. Wouldn't
Slimer? I barely know her.
There you go.
But you can tell throughout this though that. Like they watched. I mean, there's like the classic Bob Hope one that apparently is like the most famous of the of I think it's Ghostbreaker or something. It's like the most famous of these kind of ghost comedies. But they also have Abbott and Costello ones and like Three Stooges. I think had an episode where so they have all these like classic comedy things that they're kind of referencing with the physical comedy of all of this.
Yeah, and probably also Scooby Doo. And it's maybe came in. Yeah.
All right.
They calm the hotel manager. They're set to work on containing the little green ghost.
Well, he's got a name once again, so thank you.
John
Belushi,
but do they say Slimer in the movie?
They don't. They
Slimer, no sliming.
Later. Yeah.
Anyway, while shooting their weapons all over the room, Egan suddenly warns the others not to cross their streams because doing so would result in the destruction of all life as you know it. Complete. Total protonic reversal. After destroying much of the podcast. After destroying much of the ballroom. Listen, if you cross the streams of podcast, we'll start. We don't
want that. We're not looking for that. Yeah.
After destroying much of the ballroom with their seriously unstable proton packs and their inexperience in aiming and controlling them. I mean, I feel you, bro.
Right. They didn't go out to a field before this just to test it out.
Guess not. Yeah.
I know. Sometimes you get up and you're half asleep and you have trouble aiming and controlling your proton pack.
I like how the premise is they've been in the university system for years and then suddenly they leave and a month later they've developed this technology both to shoot the proton beam and to trap the ghost.
You need somebody to light a fire into your ass. It just doesn't happen in the public university system.
True. Apparently not. That's the problem. Yeah.
That's why we need to cut it to ribbons and it's austerity time, baby. After starting much of the ballroom, they burst triumphantly from the ballroom before the anxious manager and a host of guests burst in. The Ghostbusters haggle with the manager over the $5,000 bill for a moment, then head back home victorious. $5,000 doesn't seem like that much for a getting rid of a ghost.
But like he's like, well, we can just release it, and he's like, oh no, don't do that, don't do that.
For developing
like, I'm
and
not giving you
maintaining
5,000.
nuclear reactors, it doesn't seem like a lot. Yeah,
it's complete havoc that they've wreaked in this hotel. By the way,
which by the way, they've made
thousands
this.
of
They've
damages.
made all this equipment for nothing. Like they've just spent their little bit of walking around mortgage money on that. Like
maybe they got mortgage number 4 on that place.
Yeah, please help. I can't feed my family.
What could Ray have
Here's my
possibly
budget.
gotten for that house? $30,000.
Well, maybe that's why Ray's living in the firehouse now, and we never see his house.
That's true.
We never
Every
see his
road.
home.
I also love that they pay them before they go and see what has actually happened inside the room that they were just in. Like, they get the money, and then the guy opens the door and realizes that the ballroom has been trashed, right? It's like, what the hell? It's not like...
Open the door, and there's this, ooh, okay, I'll pay you. God damn it.
Come out with this little tiny box that they're shaking, like, Ghost is in here, totally.
Smoking
5K
surge protector here. You'll have to trust me.
Exactly. Would I lie? Yeah. The successful hunt proves to be but the first of a sudden rash of hauntings, meaning brisk business for the Ghostbusters. There's a great montage, of a series of missions, news spots, newspaper clippings, newspaper clippings, and stories about the Ghostbusters' new fame and success. They're even interviewed by Larry King and Joe Franklin themselves.
So, you guys, you were talking about ghosts or something? Yes,
Wichita, you're on the air. Yeah.
Yes, Larry, we're talking about ghosts. Oh, ghosts! I saw a ghost this morning. My wife.
So like I love a good 80s montage scene.
Yeah.
Which was always for something like a Rocky movie where they start off and they're like, they gotta work themselves up, and then by the end they're like ripped and ready to go. And I just love that, like, by the end of the Ghostbusters montage, they don't actually seem to be appreciably better at catching ghosts. They're kind of just like,
it also feels like they had Ray Parker Jr. do like an amazing theme, like an iconic theme, and it's like they only get it in that beginning moment, and it's like we want to hear that theme again halfway through the movie. So it's like the montage is like the perfect moment. Was something strange in your neighborhood?
Well, I also think the music cue when they're first pulling out of the firehouse, I can't remember what that song is called, but that's like the second song on the soundtrack. The rollicking piano where they're like skidding into the turn,
and then it comes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It must be like they have like the great Elmer Bernstein as like the guy doing the music in this. Like he did so many of like those cowboy movies, like so many like classic movies. They have him doing the soundtrack, and then the only thing you really remember of the soundtrack is the only thing is like just the theme, which is written by Ray Parker Jr. It's not
and before that by Huey Lewis.
That's the whole separate conversation. Let's keep it going, though. Peter briefly meets with Dana after orchestra practice, great scene, and flirts a bit with her before telling her about Zool, whom he has discovered is associated with with an ancient Sumerian god of destruction, Gozer. He tells her that he'll go over in more detail over dinner, and finally she agrees to a date. So there you go. That's the secret, everybody.
I like that they keep mixing up Babylonian and Sumerian.
Yeah,
they're like, this is nothing like the Babylonians. We're talking about Sumerian.
That's like knowing your audience too. Like most people watching this movie is not going to know or care about the difference. Yeah, so, doesn't matter.
The Ghostbusters soon hire a fourth man, Winston Zeddemore, Ernie Hudson, a black blue collar type guy. I like how it's very detailed on the summary, but it's also like a black blue collar type guy. Like this is a description. Who's just looking for a job. He'll believe anything, he just wants a job.
Well, he's also an audience proxy in a lot of ways because he's late to joining the group. So like he gets to be kind of, as you see that they've built it to this other level and that they're going through and having all these antics and adventures and whatnot, you get to see how much it's scaled up and how much the technology has become more complicated and they become more assured while at the same time wearing themselves out because there's too much work for the three of them to do.
It's also funny that they're like, they're a Columbia doctor. He's a Columbia doctor. He's a Columbia doctor. He's assumably a janitor.
He's the guy that reads Craigslist. Yeah, I mean, like, like whatever. He just wants a job. And like, he's like, in the interview, like, great, you're hired. Come on. You're a willing body. Come on.
Maybe he's one of the air traffic controllers that Reagan mass fired.
There you go.
He supposedly had a more rich backstory, and Ernie Hudson was a little miffed that it got turned into just blue collar guy because there was supposed to be some backstory that he was also a scientist.
He was also supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah, totally. Eddie Murphy was too busy having the biggest hit in 1984, Beverly Hills Cop.
That's right, yeah.
So like, it's just they were originally just gonna tap in Eddie Murphy to be like,
yeah. And also, that was like one of my favorite lines in the movie, where it's just like, if there's a paycheck, I'll believe whatever you want.
Right, exactly. Great.
There you go.
Hilarious. Somewhere in the decade of trying to make our concept album, we were trying to convince our buddy and co-host Phil to commit to this recording weekend, and Tom went on Cameo and got Ernie Hudson to yell at him about it.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh man, that rocks! I love that.
That's like $80 I've spent in a long time. Honestly.
Hey, can't argue with the results, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's like something that like I could see the Eddie Murphy would outshine, I think, everybody. It would be too much star power, I think, to have Eddie Murphy as their like fourth guy.
Well, there was some debate about whether or not, because I think when they were talking to Eddie Murphy about it, like he could have been the Venkman character too. It's a little unclear. Like I think they rearranged the script for the players they had.
Right, absolutely.
Sees here and goes, he's like Eddie Murphy's laugh that he does in throughout Beverly Hills Cop.
But yeah, he is more of a one-man show, so it definitely wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah,
because
right. I just feel like he's out. He's just such a good comic performer. And it's like,
because Beverly Hills Cop is great, but it is more of a Eddie Murphy specific vehicle.
Well, right, you're right, and Ernie Hudson does a great job, like being part of an ensemble and coming in as that late arrival audience proxy, right?
Yeah. They had to get Judge Reinhold to play the EPA guy, the Eddie Murphy version of it.
Yeah, and you get Bronson Pinchot to play Louis Tully. Everything would be great.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you said it. You take it out of New York City and put it in Beverly Hills. Oh fuck! I think we're just making Beverly Hills.
No, that's Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. Walter Peck, William Atherton. He's been in a lot of things, right? I think I recognize that actor from.
Always a dick, though.
Yeah, always a dick. The pompous EPA delegate, because this is 1984, condescendingly talks to Peter, refusing to acknowledge that Peter is in fact a PhD, just like they did to Dr. Jill Biden. They wouldn't recognize his PhD. And therefore, Dr. Venkman and briefly questions about the possibility environmental impact of their business, and specifically their custom-built storage facility. He demands to see it, but Peter just patronizes him for a bit before throwing him out. They're just back and forth patronizing each other.
I mean, he's right. Yeah. Can we just say
he's 100% correct in every way. By the way, William Atherton, he's a leading man in Sugarland Express, which is Steven Spielberg's first real movie, not counting. So he's not a dick in that. I mean, he is like an outlaw, but like he's not. It's not like how he is with in some of the later movies like Die Hard and so on and so on.
Yeah, Day of the Locust.
But he's not wrong. He's an asshole, yes, but he's not wrong. So, and you've got the song "I've Got a Dick," right? That's
yes.
But there's like a perspective.
It's like the neoliberal kind of method of storytelling. There's always like the like if you want to slow down a project, you always put an environmental review on it. It's like because you could cut the red tape pretty fast, but it's like if you want to slow the project down and like really just grind the gears on it, you're like, I think we have to study the environmental impact that this is going to have on the surrounding area.
Yeah, and it slows everything down to a halt.
Yeah. You're like, what is my lead and ammonia storage facility has to do an environmental impact study? What the fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks, Obama.
And you're gonna have to let us into the facility, and we're gonna have to look around a little bit. And but there is a way to speed this process up. But I'm not gonna say it.
Speaking of which, Ray shows Winston how they unload the ghosts they trapped into the storage facility, while Egon admits he's worried about the facility's looming capacity problem and the larger problem it indicates.
Yeah, so the EPA should be fucking shutting this down.
Right, the EPA is totally right. To illustrate, Egon tells them that his latest research indicates the city is experiencing a colossal increase in paranormal activity, comparing it to a 600-pound Twinkie. Peter joins them, mentioning the EPA, and memorably asks, "What about the Twinkie?"
I feel like they were very hungry while making those.
Yeah, right.
They bought Twinkie, like.
Meanwhile, a brief shot at the top of Dana's building shows that the dog-like gargoyle statues atop the roof are breaking apart and real animals are underneath the stone. Something that freaked me the F out as a kid.
Yeah.
That's a very arresting image.
They're running around too, like every time and they're snarling.
Yeah.
That famous thing where he's like, something in my refrigerator snarled and growled at me.
Yeah, the terror dogs lived in my head rent-free for many years, unfortunately.
Once the stuff in your fridge starts snarling and growling at you, it's time to throw it out.
Exactly. Take it to the
trash. Back inside, Dana arrives home and is once again accosted by Lewis, who is raving about his party. Come on, you gotta come to my party. My party is going good in there. You gotta show up. I guess you could bring your date, sure. He's disappointed when Dana tells him she has a date. He suddenly cheers up and tells her she can bring him to the party, or she can bring him to the party.
Yeah,
Dana goes into her apartment, undressing and talking on the phone. She sits in an armchair for a moment before noticing the same growling sounds from the kitchen. The cheese has escaped from the fridge. Before she can react, the three monsters' arms burst from the chair. That's what terrified me as a kid.
Freaky.
It holds Dana down, and she's dragged through her kitchen floor to one of the terror dogs. Up on the roof, the gargoyles have completely broken apart, and whatever was in them is loose. The juice is loose.
I love how they get Dana in her apartment, and for some reason they're like, no, Lewis Tully, he's the guy, and then he chases him all the way through to like Central Park. It's not like there's like 40 other people at the party that they could have gone after, but he's like fixates on Lewis Tully.
They lock him out at one point. Like, his guests are not big fans.
No.
So speaking of which, Lewis's party continues as he rambles on about the price efficiency of his hosting a party. Great. Two guests show up, hand Lewis their coats, and he throws them, unnoticing, on the terror dog sitting at his desk. Great. This is all deep horror, and that's freaking hilarious, right? It roars and bursts through the door, apparently only after Lewis. He runs out of the apartment through Central Park before being cornered and attacked outside Tavern on the Green. Which is both funny, and I'm just going to roll over that impression because I don't want to hear it. It's both funny and kind of horrifying when like he's getting like attacked and possessed, and they just go back to eating dinner.
Yeah,
right. That's such a good scene.
I remember that affecting me as a kid and being confused. Like, why won't they help him? And then now as an adult, I understand completely.
I'm eating.
Yeah.
This place costs like $300 a plate.
Crazy homeless person banging on the window. What does that have to do with me?
Yeah, no, that was a wrestling image for me for the same reason, Rob. When I first saw it, I was like, why won't they help him? And my dad's like,
We'll get there.
They don't want to get involved.
And then he starts talking. He starts telling me about how he's the keymaster, and I'm just like, I should not have stopped my dinner for this.
Speaking of which, meanwhile, Peter arrives at Dana's apartment, stepping over the carnage of Lewis's party, and knocks on the door. Dana opens it, dressed in a slinky red dress, he certainly is, and asks, "Are you the keymaster?" Peter says no, and she angrily slams the door in his face. Great. He knocks again and enters after answering the question, yes. Dana says that she is Zool, and they must prepare for the coming of Gozer the Destructor. Peter talks to her and resists the possessed Dana's aggressive advances before requesting to speak with the real Dana. At first, Dana coyly replies, "There is no Dana. There is only Zool," trying to kiss him. But Peter, still trying to get through to the real Dana Barrett, restrains her.
That to me,
Yeah, exactly. The possessed Dana now becomes visibly annoyed at his persistence as Peter once again inquires about the real Dana. She replies in an unearthly demonic voice, "There is no Dana, only Zool." Peter sarcastically dismisses her and gives her to the count of 3 to talk to the real Dana. With each count, Dana presents further signs of her possession, at first demonically rolling her eyes and then panting like an animal, and finally roaring like a demonic beast and levitating above her bed. She turns over in midair to face down at Peter, whom she asks her to please come down. Dana roars fiercely at him, finally frightening him.
Buddy, this is what you wanted.
Yeah, hold on for 1 second. We gave him credit early on in the show for not trying to take advantage of Dana. I forgot that she was literally levitating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all right, well, unzip. Let's get
logistical difficulties.
Listen, if you want it bad enough.
You got a step ladder around here? What are we doing? Yeah. Only Zool is a song on y'all's record, by the way.
Yes, wanted to write something from Dana's perspective about what she's going through, but yeah, that line just always stuck out to me. There is no Dana, only Zool.
I hate that it's been ruined for me a little bit by Family Guy when he goes, "There is no Peter, only Zool." When Lois is trying to
there you go. Family Guy ruining everything once again.
Yeah. Lewis looking disheveled and generally abused, this is what he normally looks like, runs out from Central Park rambling and asks a handsome cab horse if he is the gatekeeper. The horse says, "Nay, I'm not." The driver, Danny Stone, chases him off, so he runs away, screaming about a sign of Gozer's arrival and yelling that everyone will perish in flames on 9/11. Wait, on 9/11? The NYPD arrives at the Ghostbusters headquarters to drop off Lewis, who's been captured. So the NYPD is just dropping
we don't know what to do with this guy. Yeah, is this one of yours?
It's like every paranoid schizophrenic. They drop him off, and they're just like, "Nope, just back out on the street." All right.
Well, that's definitely because Reagan closed the mental hospitals, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, both the city jail and Bellevue's psych ward. Egan looks at him briefly and takes him inside. Lewis reveals his name is Vince Clortho, Keymaster of Gozer. He goes on about the history of. I think that just suddenly is like rip off Lord of the Rings, or like I don't know, like
he's chatty too. Dude sounds like he's about to start a podcast about it. Like he's just like, oh my god, this guy's got a lot of information about.
There's one thing that he says. He's like he brought in the Gozer of Torth or something, and I'm like,
yeah. It's like, all right, but, save for episode 3. We got an ad break.
Goes on about the history of Gozer and how the goddess whose various forms would mean the destruction of the civilization he targets. During the exam, Peter calls and tells Egan about the developments with Dana, who is now heavily sedated on the bed next to him. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not taking advantage of this. So Egan tells Peter in return about Lewis's psychic transformation and insists that Peter come back to headquarters, but is also suggesting that Dana and Lewis meeting might be hazardous.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Maybe we should introduce the gatekeeper to the keymaster.
They have so much in common. I feel like maybe we should get them together. It's like a setup, right? Winston and Ray are driving back to the office. Winston driving while Ray examines the very odd blueprints of Dana's apartment building. Winston asks Ray about his belief in God and speculates that the reason they've been so busy lately is because the dead have been rising from the grave, as was foretold in the Book of Revelations. As a precursor to Judgment Day and the end of the world, Ray ponders this. Great scene.
Yeah. I love that they all know. They just all know the Book of Revelations by heart too. They're like, and then the skies will open up, and the dead will rise, and there will be floods, and there'll be.
Well, and Winston's a believer, but obviously, like Akroyd's character is coming at it from the perspective of just like studying all like the ancient texts for all this like occult stuff.
The sacred text.
Well, that's also one of the.
It's a keystone part of the movie, I think.
Totally. Because if you actually believe that there are ancient gods, why wouldn't you believe that there's like an ancient Jesus and he's just a god that was, from back then as well? It's like one of because like Winston being like, I get down with that Jesus. I can totally see Ray being like, I get down with him too, man. He's cool, like all them other ancient gods.
Right, exactly.
We got no Jesus, only Zool.
All your faves.
All
right, take it, Forrest.
Back at headquarters, Walter Peck has returned with a court order. He doesn't have a dickhead ass name. A cop and a Con Edison worker. Yeah, he was bringing the Con Edison worker with him. They're like, Bellevue Hospital, they rejected us, city jail, but we got to bring this Con Edison worker. This is like, I don't know, New York's finest. Intent on shutting down the storage facility. Egan tries to talk them out of it, and Peter arrives just in time to antagonize Peck some more. Really going down on that Pecker. Before the cop intervenes, and the Con Ed guy, though highly reticent, handling equipment he has never seen before, shuts off the power grid. I love when he goes, he's like, there's like this moment where he's like, don't tell me how to do my job, just do your job or something. Like they're going back and forth. A warning buzzer sounds as everyone clears the building as the storage facility rumbles and begins to destroy the basement. A supernatural light show occurs as all kinds of paranormal energy bursts through the building and shoots out of the roof. I think something's going on in this town. Across town, Dana immediately wakes up from her sedation and walks towards her living room window. Lewis is excited, claiming this is the sign he was waiting for. Ray and Winston arrive to witness the disaster's immediate aftermath, which Reagan defunded FEMA. So, I wouldn't wait around for government help. The nine words of the English language. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. They're not coming. Even as Peck demands they all be arrested for causing it. Enraged at this self-righteous blowhard outright lying about them while ignoring his own responsibility in this disaster, Egan attacks Peck, getting everyone arrested.
Okay, so first of all, even as a child, I was like, no, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Like the audience knows, like, no, this isn't clear. Oh, should I do it? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Everybody knows this is a bad idea. Yet it's been set up in such a way that it doesn't seem egregious that this guy who's clearly set up to make a real dickhead, even if he's not wrong, it forces the issue, and it works. It doesn't seem like contrived or forced, because it's like, well, it's a natural reaction of like how he would take this to the next course of point of like him trying to shut them down, as he would literally shut it down. So of course havoc ensues.
They definitely paint him as like a kid that you would know in grade school. That would be like, like the kid who would like remind the teacher you didn't have homework or something.
Oh, big
like
hall
that.
monitor energy.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure. Like this dude absolutely worked on Hillary Clinton's campaign. Yeah, I guarantee you. Yeah. Like,
at one point, he tells the cop, "Oh, you can shoot him if they resist." It's like,
yeah,
you're escalating the situation. Like,
I don't think the EPA has the authority to tell them to shoot people. Whether
EPA is not authorized.
The only weaker kind of guy you could really get there is like the ATF. And like, the ghosts are smoking on site. You gotta take them in.
Look, we were fine with the haunting, but smoking, we have to draw the line. We don't know where these cigars came from. The freed ghosts run rampant through the city. Another great montage. But most of the energy seems to run directly to Dana's building. Dana growls at the energy, ripping out the wall of her apartment.
It was like a big party explosion.
There. Yeah,
it's the part. The energy goes towards the party.
Exactly. That's anyone can tell you that.
The energy goes towards the party. Everyone's having a good time. We want to show up.
Sitting in jail, Ray shows Egon and Peter the blueprints of Dana's apartment building, pointing out highly unorthodox methods and materials, especially near the roof. Egon tells him the building he's discovered was designed by an insane architect/surgeon named Ivo Shandor.
Yeah.
It's like you got to spread it out. You don't want to just limit yourself to one discipline. Architect,
how did an
surgeon.
insane architect get a contract of that size in New York City?
Look, it was different times, my friend.
Yeah.
Didn't have to deal with all these labor unions stopping you from doing architecture while also doing surgery.
There was no medical or architectural board, so it's different times.
I think they're trying to paint him as like a Mangala type character.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's repeatedly performed unethical surgeries and experiments. And in the 20s, Shandor was evidently so disgusted by the first.
Like, oh no! I put the door handles from the building into the guy, and I put the guy's organs into the building.
Whoops! Not again. Shandor was evidently so disgusted by the First World War. Oh yeah, I saw Wonder Woman. That he decided he would try to bring about the end of the world with the secret society of Gozer worshippers. They performed rituals atop Dana's building, an Art Deco roof cap. Beautiful, by the way. Itself was meant to be the gateway to allow Gozer into our world. A guard arrives, Reginald Vell Jensen, and tells the Ghostbusters that the mayor wants to meet them to deal with a rash of ghosts and other unbelievable phenomenon happening throughout the city.
Hold on. That's fucking Carl Winslow?
Yeah.
I swear to God, that has never even occurred to me that was Carl Winslow.
When I was a kid, I didn't like. This time I was like, oh shit, it's Carl Winslow.
It's Ghostbusters, Die Hard, and Family Matters.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I know my Reginald Vell. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like he was in a lot of shit back, like as a character actor at this point in time.
Yeah. Kind of always as a cop, basically. Like, you look copish.
I'm going to keep it going. Lewis arrives at Dana's demolished apartment, introducing himself as the keymaster. A smiling Dana responds she is the gatekeeper, and they share a passionate kiss before slowly making their way up the roof via a mythical staircase behind the wall where Dana's fridge used to be as the lightning flashes ominously.
All right. Yeah. The four men in Peck are brought before Zoran Mondami. Wow. Before the mayor, both arguing their sides. Peck claims the Ghostbusters are con artists and use nerve gases to force people to hallucinate. And have
he's the Scarecrow from Batman. Yeah.
His logic is really funny in this, though, because he's like, then they show up after using the nerve gases to be like, oh, we'll get rid of the ghosts, and that's how they get their money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that's what they do.
It's frankly more reasonable than ghosts are real and they bust them.
Well, they bust on them. Sometimes the ghost is real and you bust on it. Winston steps up and defends the things he's seeing as real, and that's like the moment where they have the guy that is the audience proxy to be like, I've seen these things. Numerous, although he's still kind of getting weird and Christian about it. Numerous city officials, like the fire chief, present evidence of bizarre phenomena of which the Ghostbusters have only the possible explanation. Ray reveals the city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportions. By the way, one of the guys is a priest that they have there, and he's just not getting involved.
He's a cardinal.
He's like, I say you should trust him, but I'm not. But don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but I'm not here. If anyone asked, I wasn't here. Okay.
Bateman finally appeals to the possibility the mayor could be responsible for saving the lives of millions of registered voters. I love that line. He's like, you can save the lives of millions. What if he still loses the election? Is he going to like kill everybody in the city?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I saved your lives, motherfuckers.
Bring Gozer back.
They're like, what's your closing message of the campaign? He's like, do I have to remind you of when I saved all your lives?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why is Gozer doing so well in the polls?
Gozer's a strong second, actually, in ranked choice voting.
There's like a lot of suicidal people in the city. They're like, I didn't want that. I didn't want you to save my life.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
ask
voting
you to
for
do
the other
that.
guy. I'm voting for the guy that never saved any lives.
And we're voting for the destroyer for mayor. Thank you.
Convinced he says, I may be a destroyer, but I'm also a builder. You know, that's his pitch. Convinced the mayor throws Peck out of his office. Get that Peck out of here. Get that Pecker out of here. And offers whatever support you can to the Ghostbusters. People have gathered all around the apartment building, which has nearly become the center of the entire mess. They cheer as the Ghostbusters arrive with the police escort and following National Guard troops. Peter mugs for the crowd. Of course, yeah, because he wants to get fucking pussy in the crowd. 4 men put on their proton packs and are prepared to enter, but a sudden earthquake seems to swallow them beneath the street. Eventually, they emerge unharmed to continue cheers from the crowd. They band together and head inside.
So what I like about that is it reinforces just how absolutely dangerous there is. Because is it like a light moment where it's like, oh, they're being hailed as heroes. That's great. I'm like, no, this is like serious business. Like this is actual end of days stuff, and it gets that across while also getting to play to the character strengths.
You know what I have to say about that? Dead, no excuse for laying off work.
Oh, there. You have it already. That's a.
In all honesty, they kind of gloss over it. But a lot of stuff falls off of that roof, and there's people not that far away from the bottom of that building.
Absolutely.
People got crushed and killed. No question about it.
Well, it's like there's like a bit of a space and then people and then a bit of a space. Like you always know people are going to get crushed with that.
Yeah, that's probably in the original Akroyd script where he's like, all right, and then we pan in on this body part strewn
outright slaughter. Once inside, they must climb the stairs to Dana's 22nd floor apartment. And strangely, another scene that really resonated with me, and I think about every time I climb a bunch of stairs, I think of this goddamn scene from Ghostbusters every freaking time. Every time.
Totally.
I was thinking about it on the Little Steven's Underground Garage Cruise. I was like, yeah, it's like the scene in Ghostbusters, except for not at all like that.
I stayed in a Rome, like an apartment in Rome that had it was on the 3rd floor, but the stairs were winding and they would stop and then start again. And it was a nightmare. You had to walk up and then they're all stone step kind of things.
That's rough. So Dana and Lewis lie on a large stone table as lightning flashes in the dark sky above them. Dana seductively wakes up? Okay, I think she just wakes up, but fine. I mean, I guess she looks hot. Followed by Lewis. They stare in awe at the glowing roof cap in front of them and walk towards the opposite stone pedestals where the terror dog statues once stood. The Ghostbusters arrive to find Dana's apartment burned out and more or less destroyed, and they see the staircase in the kitchen, and they go up. Dana and Lewis stand on their pedestals and raise their arms to the sky, suddenly struck by bolts of lightning, which they redirect towards the cap store, causing it to grind open and signaling the arrival of Gozer, the Gozerian. When the temple doors finally open, Dana and Lewis now absorb their full power as the Ghostbusters arrive just in time to see the lightning converge on the demonic couple in a huge blast, transforming them back into monstrous terror dogs who now turn and roar menacingly as the Ghostbusters before leaping towards the side of the temple doors.
Does Gozer need the Gozerian in their title? I mean, don't we know they're for Gozer?
It feels a little bit like Department of Redundancy Department, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, we get it. You're called Gozer. You're obviously
Gozer the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Gozer appears in the form of an exotic female with a tall, dark, flat top and blood red eyes. Slavica Jovan. I don't know.
It's clearly influeed by David Bowie.
Yeah. Very, very Bowie coded. Yes.
And much like David Bowie, made me feel a little strange when I saw it.
Is it okay that I have this reaction right now or no? What are we doing?
Egan points out that she's not really a woman, but rather takes the shape of whatever it wants. You don't have to you don't have to try to misgender her. Peter goes Ray into talking to her. Ray very formally requests that Gozer returns to her place of origin, but she responds by asking
on behalf of the city of New York and the county of New York. Like, he goes through the whole thing. It's great. It's really good. It sounds very official.
He says no. Gozer responds by shooting lightning from her fingers and nearly hurling the Ghostbusters off the roof. when they ask if you're a god, you say yes.
Yes,
You know,
that's
this
true.
is-
Most iconic lines from the movie. Yes.
Well, no, I'm not a god. This is a democracy. But
Yeah.
they decided to regroup and attack.
Can I tell you
Gozer.
how often I have used that exact quote? Very often, and lately, like including up to and including people in my group that I felt like were going to act weird about celebrities. I was like, look, man, somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes. Just follow me.
Another attack proves fruitless as she disappears rather than being caught in the streams. Believing that they were victorious, the Ghostbusters begin to celebrate, but it's short-lived as Gozer's booming voice is heard, demanding the city choose their form of destruction. Or choose the form of the destructor. Whatever. Choose the form of the destructor.
And choose the form. Yeah.
Choose the form. Gotta choose.
So, and this is again where Ray's childlike wonder kind of comes back big time, right? Because Peter tells everyone to clear their minds, think of nothing, so no form will be taken. But it's clearly too late. Ray admits he did his best, but something just popped in his mind. Somebody he thought could never harm anyone. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, look what diabetes is doing to society. Never harmed anyone. Right?
He's still stuck in Blues Brothers voice at that point too. He's like,
Yeah.
it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, no, he's going a deep Chicago accent for it. That's great. And of
oh
course,
no, it's the Bears.
of course, later, many years later, influencing the record "Stay Puft" by the Chop.
Indeed, yeah. We also thought it was a Sly Boner reference.
Yeah, I thought of something that I knew couldn't hurt anyone. It's the Bears. Bears. Like, you thought this couldn't hurt anyone?
A 10-story white puffy. Why is it gonna be a white one? Puffy Marshmallow Man begins to walk in the streets of the city, crushing everything underfoot. When he's close enough, the Ghostbusters open fire, setting Mr. Stay Puft ablaze. He doesn't like that, by the way. As he begins to climb the building, King Kong style.
Yo, I'm climbing the building, King Kong style. Running for cover, the Ghostbusters appear out of ideas. We've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas. Until he gets desperate to cross the streams in an effort to close the door and destroy Gozer's portal. Realizing this will probably mean their doom, the Ghostbusters go ahead with the plan to set off to finish the god. Crossing the streams does indeed result in a catastrophic explosion, and the podcast starting, destroying the temple and incinerating the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and raining molten marshmallow all over the street, including on an onlooking Walter Peck. Back on the roof.
Great moment.
He looks so much better with marshmallow all over. But back on the roof, the Ghostbusters have survived and slowly emerged from the rubble, covered in marshmallow muck. Peter, covered the least by the marshmallow, finds the roasted carcasses of the terror dogs and believes Dana is dead. Behind him, though, her fingers crack through the hardening ruins of the animal, and the Ghostbusters quickly break apart the rest, freeing her and Lewis. I would have left Lewis. They leave the roof, and Winston exclaims, "I love this town."
They also say they're going to take part of Lewis's brain. We're going to extract some brain tissue. Is that okay? Oh, sure. more great stuff with
that. Is
not,
one of my
not much
favorites.
not much there.
Is the everybody's covered head to toe, and Venkman's got just like a little bit on his sleeve. It's so great.
Is it really ever explained why? I mean, it's great, but like, is it really ever explained why?
He just, first of all, he just is that kind of guy that, like, he lucks out on everything in life. But also, I think the implication is that he ran and hid first,
right?
Everybody else,
everybody was the proton pack in them. Yeah.
Well, he also he was the one that got slimed, so it's like,
fair point.
That's true. He got it in the beginning. Winston getting that great line. That's awesome. And then as the closing credits roll, the Ghostbusters return to the street to the roaring cheers of the crowd. Peter and Dana kiss in front of everyone. Lewis is helped into an ambulance. And as they drive off, the green ghost from the hotel roars toward the camera as it fades to black.
Bye, John Belushi.
Bye, John Belushi. It's been real. We have I ain't no god, right? But I'm trying to think of the other.
I'm afraid of no god.
The Traveler, right? There's some Gozerian.
From Gozer's perspective, written as if he was a drunken lover returning home, pounding on the door, asking you to let him in.
But also probably, I think, inspired by the Dana Zool voice, using the tape effect of speeding the tape up and singing to it and slowing it down to get the monster voice going on, which was a very fun thing to do in the studio. And luckily, shout out to Tim Green up in Louder Studios in Grass Valley for
friend of the show, or friend of my show. He's a man on the show, but
yeah, for just dealing with all of our like juvenile experimentation in the studio. Yeah,
I completely forgot about this until we were gonna cover this, and I was thinking about it. I have this picture from when I was a kid where I'm just dressed pretty much
it's a Stay Puft.
I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and I always like called it like. When people ask me like what I was dressed up, I'm like, it's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like even though clearly, like, I definitely was like a sailor or something.
Right. It's a good bit. It's a good bit. So there you go, folks. That's the plot for Ghostbusters, and of course, it is time once again for Letterboxd one-liners. This is a bit that will be very familiar to both Rob and Tom because they have the mean tweets section of their show. But I assure you, I had this way before that. Unlike almost everyone else that has ripped me off specifically. But this is a social media site, Letterboxd, for film lovers talk out within to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films that they just endlessly quoted back and forth ad nauseum. Send review. And of course, that's fine. It's a bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to have their say. Everyone gets to chime in and opine about the movies, not just the Siskells and Eberts of the world. These are all best expressed succinctly. We're I-Weekly back on it, folks. Collect them for Forrest and the panel to react to in real time. As we react to all of these Letterboxd reviews.
I'm very curious about next week, The Perfect Day. The Perfect Day is one.
Look, don't get me started, kid. I got my work cut out for me on that one. And of course, that's what this bit is. These are Letterboxd one-liners for Ghostbusters. Forrest, let's hit it. I'd be Louis Tully, too, if Sigourney Weaver is my neighbor.
Oh, I just tried to climb in your apartment, and then I realized that I couldn't get in, so I decided that I could turn my radio up so then they couldn't hear your television.
To be clear, they did sleep together before Venkman got to her.
That's true. That is true.
Fair point.
Technically speaking, game, set, and match. Louis Tully. 3 friends from college create a successful startup.
I mean, yeah.
Again, the real question is how financially successful could they have been? Because their equipment costs have to be out of control.
Yeah, I don't think the city of New York's paying for this last ghost busting event.
Well, the whole joke or whatever it is that this is going to be a defense contractor firm, like that they're saying at the beginning of it. So it's like the Pentagon is like their goal is to get Pentagon funding for this,
and yet it's also implied that it's a one-time event based purely on Zool's return, right? Or Gozer's return.
Well, we've all seen business models with less. With less stuff put into it, though.
Right. So, it's just slapped AI on the name.
Right, exactly. If it was
on that Zool pack.
Maybe this isn't one of these sequels I won't watch, but like it would be Ghostbusters, but they would just like lose the last vowel or something, and it's on an app. Yeah. Anyway, terrible. Please don't make that into a movie. Thank you. A real-life documentary about what happens when scientists stop being supervised.
Yeah.
And start getting real.
Exactly.
Well, once you're in the private sector, it's really just up to you. You don't have a university staff watching you all the time.
What's that old saying that everyone talks about mad scientists? It's like almost all mad scientists are actually just mad engineers. And so that's really, whoever was the engineer making all of the fucking proton packs and the traps and whatnot. Those are the actual people.
It's Egan, right? Like he's the guy that's like his role in the firm. I like it's three guys. It's three guys from college and their black friend that they met recently.
I know that the movie is called Ghostbusters, but I did not think that someone would actually bust in a ghost.
Imagination. How much of that was in the original script? How many ghost busting incidents were in the original script?
Right. Yeah,
guys, ever since I busted in that ghost, I am a ghost STD. It is bad.
Got ectoplasm everywhere. You don't even want to hear about it.
The ectoplasm never stops.
It's like if Property Damage was a movie.
This film is brought to you by Property Damage.
That's not wrong. Not wrong.
Property Damage, not a great name for a band, but because it's got to be like 20,000 bands that have used the term Property Damage.
Bands too, all punk rock. Yeah, they are.
Break it.
Be honest. How fucked is it to be horny for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Well, I was a kid back then. Don't
That's good.
don't ever see me, bro.
Our lawyers say not to answer that question.
You know, I look at it in an aspirational way, right? Even if you're the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, 50 foot tall, and you know a giant blob of gluten, somebody out there will fuck you. So you know, don't give up hope.
Unless of course
Shoot your shot.
unless you're Lewis Tully, then you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Although I guess he did. Like,
I got he's possessed by a demon dog. No big deal. Average Tuesday. There was, in fact, something strange in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's like the most prophetic first line of a song.
I mean, that is a great first line for the song. Just something strange in the neighborhood. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters?
Yeah. That's great. That's great. That's great lyricism.
Although they are kind of lying when they say I ain't afraid of no ghosts, because these guys are definitely afraid of ghosts several times throughout.
Terrified.
They're pretty justified in being so for the most part.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters smoke on the job and just shows how wild the 80s were. That's great.
That's got to be written by somebody who wasn't alive in the 80s. Because, I mean, smoking on the job, on the airplane, in the restaurant, in the grocery store, it was fucking ever. You smoke in the waiting room of your doctor's office.
It is. I know this user. She's a friend of mine on there. And she's very young. But
okay. There we go. Yeah.
Not to narc her out, Louise. Sorry, but not sorry.
I was watching some weird YouTube documentary the other day, and this guy was like in deep Arkansas. Like he's at like the worst part of like the Arkansas fucking like the panhandle or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the only good thing about it is that the hotel room has some smoking signs. So like it's just this like YouTube guy like miserably smoking in like the worst hotel room you've ever seen. He's like, you gotta do it if they let you.
I mean, it's also one of those things, in that same way, Tom, like I grew up around it too. Like my mom smoked a lot, and smoking sections in restaurants and whatnot. Here we go. Yeah, 3 cigarettes. Exactly. One for
exactly.
each.
It is fucking insane that at one point you could just smoke on a plane.
Oh yeah.
That seems a little ill-advised. Sure.
Yeah.
I'd gladly be the keymaster if it meant I got to go hang with Zool and Gozer.
Dude, those are like such good like henchman names. You're like, yo, I meet up with my boys Zool and Gozer.
Yeah.
Things are about to get crazy when the keymaster shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
Something tells me those guys do a lot of weed.
They call me the gatekeeper because I guard access to my friend group.
They call him the keymaster because of what he puts on it. Yeah. Anyway, that's Josh Dugan, everybody. Our show, Josh Dugan. Fellas, is it gay to bust some slime with your bros?
No, man. Cross the streams all you want.
Yeah.
If your friends are asleep and your ghost shows up and it didn't come off as gay to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, it's the 80s. Different time.
Stuff as many hot dogs in your mouth as possible.
Right. No one's gonna stop you.
It's the early 80s, so the old age crisis hadn't started yet.
Or, nobody cared about it yet, at least.
Purposely being ignored, right. Those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Ghostbusters. Please follow the show on our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where we have all the great attendant short-form content, clips, and related paraphernalia? Sure. I'm still thinking about those key bumps, apparently.
Yeah.
From this show on the popular format. At Always Flacco, your host over there. Bustin makes him feel good. Also makes him feel good when you do a Letterboxd follow.
Girls do like to go home with the keymaster if the key bumps are involved.
All right. I, of course, Total Protonic Reversal, name my podcast, everybody. At Conan Neutron. Follow me along for the highbrow, the midbrow, the populosphere, all that stuff. I've recently logged 3 movies because I did not watch a single movie for a month because I was busy doing other stuff. We'll get to that in the plugs. But follow me at Conan Neutron, Letterboxd as well. Christina. Fellas, I don't think you have Letterboxd accounts. It's okay. This isn't peer pressure. If you do, shout them out now. Before we hit it with the plugs, Forrest, let's do it.
All right. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
That's right. So there actually is no Protonic this week, but next week, Nathan Carson of Point Line Plane, Nanotear Booking, Two-Tone Boa, so many other great bands that's coming on. He's a wonderful, wonderful man with a lot of rock experience. Of course, it has been 6 weeks since Protonic was last on air, so that's longest break in a while. But yeah, ProtonicReversal.com for that. $1 a month advance access on Patreon.com/ProtonicReversal. There's a bunch of good stuff coming for May and June, and I'll be announcing that as that comes along the lines. The reason why, of course, I was out on tour with the Mighty Red Cross for most of April and most of March. The shows were great. They were wonderful. I met fans of this show as well as fans of 1001 Album Complaints at various locales.
Nice.
If you were there, you know, and if you weren't, you missed it. But yeah, great crowds. Really awesome time. Can't say enough nice things about it, but I will mention in the after party. I will also say that we had shopping bags made up. The Mighty Who Dares logo.
Nice.
As well as the classic Death is Coming, Eat Trash, Be Free raccoons as well. they were meant to be arriving in Austin at about a third of the way through the tour, and somebody didn't sign for them, so they basically went on their own tour around the country. And so the short story is that we did not have them for any of the shows, which is something people asked about constantly. Do you have any bags for these records? And I was like, no, we don't. Don't get me started. So that's annoying, but I'm putting them up on the neutronfriends.bandcamp.com merch store. So they'll be up for sale tomorrow morning for that. I recommend doing them. I personally enjoy the band shopping bag thing quite a bit because, I'm bougie as fuck. So I like that, going to get my artisanal produce and whatnot with a band bag. I'm still got it. I'm still rebellious.
Those are good, and I feel like you could do really well with those little tiny backpacks, the ones that are like almost like a shopping bag. Like I feel like if you had those that would be great.
Well, I don't have those, but I got two different designs of shopping bags, so I'm putting them up tomorrow because, of course, that's the last shows for a while till summer. But you can find all the records except for Art of Murder now out of print for the second time, and then Adult Prom out of stock. We don't have any in right now, but you can special order Way of the Neutron as well as any.
What do you have at this point?
Like all the other records, like 6 other records. There's plenty to buy, people.
It was just like, this is out of stock. We didn't get these bags.
It was a big tour. What can I say? I mean, the Art of Murder thing it sucks because it's the 10th anniversary of that record in the fall, and I don't know when it's gonna be back in print. Don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's always nice when people buy things and like things. So I have a East Coast tour to announce for the end of June, probably next week. And then a West Coast run, actually, Tom and Rob, you'll appreciate this, with the Mouse from Victory Associates' new band.
Oh, nice.
The Null. And so we're going to have a West Coast tour with them at the end of August as well. And a few other cool things that are kind of annoying.
I'm going to be on the East Coast for the summer. I want to find out what your dates are.
Let's talk. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just don't cross the streams. East Coast, West Coast, separate.
Right. Exactly. It's got to be a Gozerian style effort, really. Yes. If you do.
Conan Neutron, the Secret Friend, sparks the next East Coast, West Coast rock.
I had no idea. Yeah, I'm just trying to sell these shopping bags. You can, of course, stream Where the Neutron, all the various streamers, as well as Bandcamp, buy digital as well. So we have all those other tour dates coming up. There's like 2 or 3 things I can't talk about yet, but they'll be announced fairly soon. Caterwaul is up and running. Single day tickets went on sale on Monday. So go to caterwaul.org for that. Rye Coalition's playing, digits, crosses, like it's pretty amazing. One would think I would have an image for that ready. I don't. But hey, I've been at sea, literally at sea for a little while anyway. And what can I say about that? And the fact that I'll get together next week. So follow me along for all that. Of course, Christina is streaming. What is Christina doing? Why is she not on the show?
No, she wouldn't be. If she was like, I'm going to stream at the same time, I'd be like, no, you're not.
No.
She's just she was dog sitting and just I think it was just not enough time to make home. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be on next week, he said, hopefully, for our episode Perfect Days with the Marta Jones.
It's funny, though, like, Christina this week wasn't on this, and then I was like, I can't swing doing Absurdity Space this week. Like, I'm still unpacking my shit and, like, getting everything. So, it's like, I made this one with the seat of my pants, really. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted to do an easy one, which... despite that plot synopsis being 50 pages long,
I should have.
God, who wrote this?
I think it was Lewis telling you.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what what's the character where he's rattling on about.
We're doing the Ghostbusters thing, and everyone's here, and here's what the movie said.
right, exactly. Starts talking about.
He definitely calls you up and just explains the movie like plot point by plot point. Like, here's what you missed. You didn't come to the movies.
Anyway, that's what's going on with me. Let's kick it, Tom, for plugs. What do you got going on?
Listen to 1001 Album Complaints, baby. That's where we are every week, spending God knows how many hours researching backstories on various albums, and then arguing with our friends about whether or not great art should be heard. Check out Stay Puft.
You did Green Day, I think, this week, right? And Queen before that.
Queen good. Before that, yeah. We've been tackling some big ones lately, and hopefully throwing out some controversial but well-researched opinions. Rob and I are actually playing a show together as the Beverly Crushers, coming up on,
which of course is your Star Trek themed tribute band. We barely touched on that. So.
Yes, our Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, Next Generation
tribute band. It's very specific to just that era.
Sir.
Yes. But yeah, we're going to be playing a show in Walnut Creek on the 7th of May. 9th of May. The 9th of May. Saturday, the 9th of May. What's the name of the record store, Rob? You're so much
Up the Creek Records.
Up the Creek Records in Walnut Creek. Very excited for that.
Will it be in costume?
A year, so.
Is this a?
Oh,
it's always in costume.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, don't act like everybody knows that.
Why would I get on stage without a costume, my friends?
Good question. That's good.
Yeah, that's about all we got going on, Conan. Not quite as busy as you are, but we're trying to keep it.
My plug section routinely takes up, I think, a 10th of the show, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. And that's me being succinct.
Yeah.
Rob, what do you got?
Well, Tom took some of mine, but yeah, every week on 1001 Album Complaints, we tell the backstory behind a classic album. We argue about it. We nitpick it. So that's available every single Monday. Subscribe to that. We'd love to see you. We'd love to hear from you about what we got wrong or maybe what we got right. Check out Stay Puft, which Conan's been holding up. Our Ghostbusters concept record. It comes in beautiful Slimer green vinyl. It's a beautiful product, and I think the music's pretty solid as well. I think you'll enjoy it. Lots of Easter eggs.
I got a green screen, so it's apparently invisible. Sorry.
About Ghostbusters, and of course the Beverly Crushers. Like Tom said, we're about to play a show. We don't play super often like Conan does, but we always have a great time when we do. And Tom and I are about to be in the studio recording some new Beverly Crushers songs in 2 weeks' time. So that third record is forthcoming.
Nice. Very cool. That's it is Slammer green vinyl. Yes, that's true. It's that's true. That does not lie. I just can't show it on the screen because it's literally a green screen. Sorry. That's very right. It does look lovely though. I will show the here. try to focus this.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see the eye, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Sam Cedar should come back on the show. Sounds great. Tell him to return my email. Everyone's got ideas how the show should operate. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not they're holding up the Sam Cedar thing.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Thanks. Oh, you're saying popular guests should come back on the show? Huh. Speaking of which, Adam McKay coming up next month, and Josh Olson come back on next month as well. So
yeah, I'm not sure of the exact date.
The only time I looked at the calendar was to make sure that we had the invite for these two guys tonight. And other than that, I ain't looking at this shit.
Anyway. I don't even know what month it is anymore.
I don't even know what a calendar is. What is it? Anyway.
How do you know
Rob, you want
Gregorian, Julian calendar? Which one is it?
I use the Gozurian calendar.
Of course.
Yeah. Rob, you want to lead us off with some final thoughts on Ghostbusters, please?
Yeah, I think the big theme we didn't touch on that was a big inspiration for us making the record was that it is really a movie about science versus religion. And interestingly enough, both exist in the world of Ghostbusters, the world of the supernatural and the world of science. They do battle. In the end, science wins. But honestly, even then, it's not that clear cut because at the end of the movie, when they cross the streams, they take a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they take the leap of faith earlier on when they just try out the thing and then just like kill a black lady, but it worked. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I just think there's some good themes underlying what's going on in this film about what it means to exist in a world. Let me put it another way. I think one of the things the movie does right is it starts off with an inherently ridiculous premise and it treats it like it's pretty normal, which is what we like to do with our records, as I already mentioned.
You see a little bit of yourself in that concept? Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. This helped define my aesthetic, or certainly influenced it from a young age.
It's awesome. Also, there's like just a fight between like the private and public sectors going on in the world that also has ghosts, and it's like,
yeah,
they're like private sector jobs, public sector jobs, ghost sector jobs. I don't know.
The ghost sector, yeah, the developing ghost sector. Yes.
Would they have would like a team of ghosts be like union busting? They would, right? Like, they're like, we've hired these ghosts to replace the striking workers, and
yeah, would they still be applicable to work hour standards and things like that? They're ghosts. They literally can't sleep. Yeah.
Especially if it's like a bunch of Slimers, right? Like they're not the best treated ghosts of the bunch.
I mean, they can apparently eat, so they got that going for them.
They would probably hire them to like chase tenants out of a building.
They're the new Pinkertons.
And turn into
You got some ghost Pinkertons to go chase them out. Ghost Pinkertons, everybody. Thank you.
The same way they kind of have the what Shamrim or whatever, like they can't actually like the Orthodox Jewish police in the city that like they can't actually arrest anybody, but essentially they can detain you and then call the actual police. No. That's what they get Slimer to do.
Right. Anyway, Tom, what's your final thoughts on the movie Ghostbusters?
Final thoughts on the movie Ghostbusters. I mean, three friends with a pretty unlimited budget and blatant disregard for all rules and regulations can really go out there and change the world the positive way, people. So, let's deregulate Silicon Valley. That's what people are come to.
We need to deregulate the ghost space.
Yes. But in all honesty, like I feel like this movie helped to shape my entire sense of humor and cynicism for the world, and also cynicism tinged with a little bit of hopefulness, because I feel like the movie is very cynical, but there's definitely some hope in there. And so, yeah, absolutely transformative movie. Show it to your kids at way too young of an age. It's actually good for them.
All right, that's that means I'm up. So, yeah, I mean, all-time movie blockbuster, favorite of mine. Obviously, so much so that I named my podcast Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. And I think what rarely gets credit is the deep lore that went into the film. And I think we mentioned Dan Aykroyd's fascination with and deep belief in the paranormal and parapsychology. It's very real, and it contributed to the base of the story that it's the equivalent of like a hard sci-fi hard fantasy, whatever, with the deep mythology that it has, and it's filtered through a kind of mainstream perspective with Bill Murray's super likable deadpan scampishness. And the balance between the comedic beats and the hard pseudoscience is a fine balance, and it to my taste, has never quite worked in this same way again. I think the principal characters are unique with defined roles and depth, and you don't often see that in big budget blockbusters. And the movie's great, but I think the magic truly begins once we get Ernie Hudson, because he's just a guy looking for a steady paycheck that doesn't mind a quite dangerous job that, quite frankly, most people wouldn't even believe. And, that makes it an audience proxy. It works very well. Are there a few kind of suspect and or regrettable scenes? Ghost blowjob, sure. Does it rule? Yes, it does. So yeah. I think it's why it's maddening to me that none of the other movies or spin-off media really ever nails the tone. But yeah, Bustin' does indeed make me feel good.
Well,
I think he is still selling Crystal Skull vodka. Yes, Jack.
Yeah. And he's still suing. I believe he still regularly sues people with other kinds of like skull-shaped things. Like there's this big thing where people are getting upset because there's like skull. There's like a skull hot sauce. And he
trademarked skulls.
Yeah, he sued the creator of Skull Hot Sauce. I was getting into this because I was getting into this the other day because I was like, is the crystal head vodka any good? And it's like, no. And also anybody else that tries to sell stuff out of it, I guess he's very litigious about it. Despite the fact that some of that stuff is like from the same time, like it's not like
yeah.
But
first in the post for trademark law.
Shout out to Reddit for the thing. That someone's like,
shout out to Reddit.
Shout out to Reddit for though someone was just like, I've come to the conclusion that anything with a cool bottle, like vodka with a cool bottle, tastes like shit inside. They spent the money on the bottle. That's where it's. Right. But yeah, we're going to. Well, first of all, we have Perfect Day next week. The Wim Wenders, classic, which I saw earlier this year, so I'm excited to talk about it.
I have been to those toilets when I was in Japan.
Yeah. You sent
which sounds like an insane sentence, but
actually, I just coincidentally watched that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and enjoyed it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I watched a different kind of Japanese toilet movie than you guys did.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
All right, Chuck Berry. Fine.
But and we're gonna have an after party tonight. If you guys want to come on the after party, you can. No pressure to do that. I completely forget to every time say that before we go on air.
Yeah, it's almost like putting people on the spot right when the show's about to end.
But yeah, we're gonna be going over to the old after party in a second here. We're back.
And I put the link to Stay Puffed in the show notes too, so everyone can check out the record, stream it, maybe purchase a copy, so on and so on.
Awesome. Thanks, dudes.
All right.
Thanks so much.
See you on the other side, the spiritual realm.